Alrighty. Welcome in, welcome in. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And today we're going to go over the severe weather coverage for this week. So I am recently new to storm tracking on YouTube, and I just wanted to go over a couple things. I am a registered storm spotter with the National Weather Service based out of San Antonio, Austin. I am looking this week at some possibilities of some storm chasing here in Texas. I'm only going to be live maybe an hour or so, and then I got to get ready for my other job. But I just wanted to do a update here and give you guys a more extensive outlook on what is going on. So we're going to take a look at a couple of things this week, and the first of it is going to be this severe weather coverage, and I'm actually going to go here, which is my Radar Pro. We're going to take a look at a couple things. So this is kind of starting today. Um, Now, the National Weather Service put out this bulletin here, basically saying that there's a marginal risk. They put this around here yesterday, and nothing happened. The Cape values, the convective potential energy is really high, but it seems to be capped, which is good because then that would probably be a much higher risk. So, bear with me, guys. So basically, what they're saying today, let's go over into what the National Weather Service is actually stating today, and we'll go to. I think I had the window up unless I closed it. Let's take a look. We're gonna pull up the. We're gonna go over a couple things today. I got to. We're gonna go over this real quick, which is the SPC forecast. So here is the areas that are have a potential of having some marginal severe weather. So given a roughly 2% chance. Um, Isolated large hail or wind gusts may occur over the north central plains in North Texas today, which would be this threat right here. We can kind of see here, there's no real tornado risk. There is some 5% chance of damaging winds to the west of or to the east of Abilene, Texas, and there's about a 5% chance of damaging hail. And that also includes areas of South Dakota, parts of northwest Nebraska, and southeast North Dakota. Um, Kind of the same play out as it was yesterday, but they had a much higher severe risk up there yesterday in Nebraska and South Dakota. A lot of straight line wind. To my knowledge, there wasn't a whole lot of tornadoes that went on. So they're saying basically a high altitude mid upper low pattern is forecasted to persist through the period. A leading cyclone initially located over the Delmarva Peninsula is forecasted to move slowly out to sea. Analyzed from central Texas to the mid-south to lower Ohio Valley. So what does this mean for you guys here in Texas and the northern part of the plains? Just means that there is a chance for some isolated cells to pop up today, and it will be up in the upper atmosphere and with the convection. And so there's basically a 2 to 3 hour window this later this afternoon for North Texas. Um, it's a threat for downdraft, so these isolated cells won't be able to sustain themselves and initially collapse on themselves, causing a downdraft, or some people know them as a microburst in large hail. So these are going to be rapidly blowing up. They're probably going to last 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and then collapse on themselves. And it's going to happen near a dry line, as these storms usually do. So let's go back over here. So this is the My Radar, and this will allow me to kind of explain how that works. The dry line is going to be probably right along here, so storms would kind of fire up and track that way. If anything does become convective, it'll probably really be in through this area of Texas, which includes Stevensville, Dublin, Comanche, Graham, Breckenridge, Albany. Um, so pretty much to the east of Fort Worth, including the town of Weatherford, Texas, Jacksboro, Eastland. This is going to be areas to the east of Abilene and to the west of Dallas Fort Worth. We'll take a look into the northern plains here and see what they've got going on. So this is going to be more of a severe threat for areas of North Dakota, possibly Michigan, South Dakota, and North Dakota. And the reflectivity is not wanting to work. Okay. So we'll take a look here. You got some shower activity here in Minnesota. Maybe some shower activity there. We can kind of take a look to see what's going to form, and the best way to do that is a couple of forecast models. One of them being the GFS. So GFS, this is the United States weather modeling forecast. So they're saying right now, in the early stages, 9 a.m., you're going to have these showers, which we've been seeing. You can take a look at the weather conditions here. Not really much in the form of convectiveness, very tight with the winds and the temperature, not having much of a chance to create severe weather. Plus, really, the cape is not in place. Um, go a little bit into this afternoon. I see maybe. Well, this is actually not the GFS. This is the HHR, the HER model, which I actually have been finding is quite interesting, because it looks like when you're doing the forecast models here, you're looking. Usually, the GFS kind of gives you a play-by-play of what might happen, and it doesn't look like a higher resolution. This is very high resolution future forecasting, and I really do like it. And I can kind of show you what it looks like on the GFS too. But so we're going out a couple of hours. Just taking a look here to see what might pop up. Maybe looking like right here that there is some convectiveness starting to happen. Maybe some showers and thunderstorms start firing off in South Dakota and North Dakota. And that's kind of what they're predicting right here is that something occurs in that area. Now they don't really have a cape. Um, could be around 1 inch of rain in that area falling, but it doesn't look like much as far as severe weather. You might get some small gusty winds, some hail. We can kind of take a look, see what the HHR is saying right now. Not really much in the form of cape. Now, you go down here to Texas, and that's a different story. Now, the Cape is very, very high today in Texas. This is the amount of potential energy that storms can use to rapidly explode. And this is why they're calling for more of a big hail chance here in Texas if storms do pop off. So we're talking probably quarter size and bigger size hail. There's a 5% chance of it, and so this is really showing you that there's a lot of potential energy here in Texas. Now, the moisture is not really in play today, and the cap seems to be pretty locked. So it'll be interesting to see if the cap breaks in this area where I got the red box. Um, like I said, we'll have to see what happens on that in that case. But right now, they're not really forecasting much to happen today in that section of Texas. So I can continue to looking all throughout the day. It doesn't look like the cap breaks from the HHR model. Now we can take a look at the GFS model, which is going to be this. Now this is a Now, they have potential storms forming in that target zone to the west of Abilene. So, we'll have to take a look to see if anything forms. And if it does, it's not going to be super long lived. Um, it's probably just going to produce kind of just going hour by hour. So, 6 hours, nothing really shows up. 12 hours, nothing really shows up. 18 hours, nothing really shows up. Even on GFS model, they're not really showing any storms firing up on the Texas dry line. Like I said, high amount of Cape. It's but it's somewhat dry outside today. That area is going to be well over 100 degrees. It's just the dew points are not very high in that area. It seems like that storm's going to be capped for the most part. Now we're going to take a look at our other severe weather chances. These are going to be the severe weather chances above. Today, we already kind of went over it. Tomorrow looks more like a stronger threat for areas of Michigan. We'll take a look at that real quick. Up. So if we take a look tomorrow, oh, that's not tomorrow. I need the 2-day outlook. Okay, there we go. So this is going to be for La Crosse, um, down to Des Moines, Iowa. There is that severe chance. So there's a slight risk for severe weather from south central Iowa to northwestern Wisconsin. tomorrow. Isolated late day storms will develop into portions of Iowa and adjacent to western Wisconsin, where hail and damaging winds and possibly a tornado may involve. Let's see. Upper pattern will develop, and so that's what's gonna basically cause the severe weather threat here. So overall, surface-based storms should weaken after sunset. The cap becomes reestablished. Um, so it's going to be a very short window for if these storms do evolve. So if the strong cape, which is the convective available potential energy, involves and combines with the flow of varying and increasing in height. So it's contingent on the existence of the strong cape in the area that supports all hazards of severe risk. So this would be 5% chance of hail and wind, or sorry, 15% chance of hail and wind, and 5% of a tornado forming in that area. And that's within a 25-mile radius of any of those given areas. And that includes Des Moines, Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Waterloo, Iowa, West Des Moines, Iowa, and La Crosse, Wisconsin. So it's got quite a large area to cover, and then it's a lesser chance for Wisconsin and Minnesota, these portions of Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. And again, tomorrow in Texas, there's that little tiny risk. So what else should we go over? Okay, so then day 3. Now, this is something that I am looking at possibly storm chasing. Let's go over to mesoscale. Convective outlook. So we're gonna hit this. So this is interesting. So Lubbock, Midland, Odessa, Big Spring, Plainview. This is all within 4-hour drive of me. Severe storms may evolve into portions of West Texas, accompanied with a hail and wind risk. The only reason I wouldn't consider it is because the drive out there it can get extensive. There's ample cape, convective available potential energy over that area. Um, they will grow quickly and intensify, increasing flow with height. Large hailer would be possible with a couple of these storms. So that is what I'm looking at. I saw some modeling where it looked like some possible lines of thunderstorms forming over the same areas that were tornado hit the other day when I was chasing. And of course, I missed those storms by an hour. I was chasing another tornadic storm just to the north of Amarillo, or to the north of all was it Abilene. Sorry. Apparently, I haven't had my coffee this morning. But yeah, so looks like potentially the same areas could get affected again. Right now, if you look at the GFS model for that area, it looks like some storms fire up just on that dry line, which is going to be around Lubbock and Midland, and then it's going to move into the rest of those areas and to the west of Abilene. So it'll be interesting to see if there's actually the Cape snaps and some storms are allowed to form. Like I said, very narrow window in the evening when these would, if it would happen, it would be more of a damaging wind and hail risk. So we're gonna take a close eye on that one for if that keeps evolving. Because yesterday it was more of a stronger chance for tornadoes and hail. So now, and I can kind of show you what that would look like. I don't know if they have updated the GFS model yet. Let's take a look. So we're looking at Wednesday. No? Okay, so this newer model here. So this is the recently new model that just came out. Taking a look at this would have been a couple of hours ago that they issued this forecast model for, and it really looks like right here that they have that chance for some severe weather to pop up and form. So possibly on the North Texas Oklahoma line. I like this better. Going into West Kansas, and I've had some crazy tornado chasing moments in West Kansas. When they form on that dry line on the Colorado border, they just explode. So it looks like maybe some severe chances coming up for Kansas. Be interesting to see how that plays out. So this is what they're talking about. Where's this model? Okay, so this is gonna be, is that around midnight? 72 hours out. So that's 3 days, 4 days. Okay, so we're taking a look here. Where did my forecast? Okay, so this is going to be 66 hours out. So there is that potential for very strong storms to form. That area would include, let's do a side by side comparison here. I'm guessing that would probably be Midland, Odessa area. That cell is right there. Trying to get an exact gauge here of the where that is. So, Fort Stockton, essentially, would be uh, could be a Fort Stockton day to go out and do some storm chasing. But there is also some of that potential energy that's up here that looks really good. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Just wanted to go live and share with you guys what was going on. So this is initially what the Storm Prediction Center is looking at. Fort Stockton is kind of on this outer area of where these storms can form, so they might wobble that forecast back and forth over the next 48 hours. So this is going to be around the 66 hours from now. they're saying that this is going to be potentially 3 o'clock in the morning. That doesn't sound right. Unless they're, I think they're on Eastern time. So let me see what they're saying as far as when these storms are supposed to fire off. Because apparently the GFS is saying it's a 3 a.m. Fort Stockton surprise. We're not gonna trust that right now. So let's see what they're saying. They're gonna basically form right before sunset. So I want to say they're probably gonna form in between uh, 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock is my guess. That's usually when the storms in West Texas fire up, but we'll see when we get a more detailed forecast in a day or so. And that was a couple of hours ago when that was posted, so I mean, it's we'll have to take a look at what actually comes out from the National Weather Service. So essentially, if I were to go chasing that day, I'd probably stage myself in Fort Stockton. Even though that severe risk is going to be this area, looking right here around Big Spring to Fort Stockton area would probably be the best area to go. Maybe Odessa. So that's kind of where I would say. But it says that most of the severe stuff is going to happen um, to the east of Abilene. So this area would be the area that these storms go into and become severe. So I don't know. I'll have to take a look. I'll have to gauge it because they had it a little bit farther north yesterday in the areas that were hit by the tornadoes in North Texas the other day. So now that was the previous one, and now it's shifted a little bit. So interested to see what happens because now it's more changed as far as that goes. So so that's the area that they have it in. That's where it was yesterday. Like I said, now the severe risk is more of this area coming up. That was the newest update from the National Weather Service. Was this area here to the east of Abilene and around Big Spring, Odessa, where they have these storms firing up, though, is somewhere right here around Fort Stockton, moving into this area. So we'll have to see what happens, like I said, and I'll be I'll be keeping a close eye on it, just in case I go storm chasing here in the next day or so. But thank you guys for the people who are viewing. I wasn't going to be live very long this morning. Just wanted to take a look at severe weather potential going on in the area. Look at the little area again that they have I know you don't understand it. So we are taking a look at a couple of things, guys, and be interesting to see how this GFS model plays out over the next couple days. Thank you guys for joining me for this little update, and I will see you guys